to go in the period. And you can count on the fact the coaching staff for the Sarnia Sting will not like that.
As we're going to face off just ahead of the London line, Larman and Stathopoulos. We've got a broken hockey stick. Finally they recognize it as it was in the corner. And the linesman Todd Dowdy goes and grabs it and takes it over to the bench. Now we've got Hanchuck and Bois involved in a fight as Carcillo was knocked down on the play. Bois and Hanchuck involved in a fight in London territory. As Bois and Hanchuck, the veteran Hanchuck, comes over, and here they go. Hanchuck takes the helmet off voluntarily, and it's Bois and Hanchuck. Let's see what happens here as Carcillo is still buckled over right at center ice. Bois and Hanchuck continuing to throw jabs. Bois giving up a bit of size. Hanchuck, a sizable man out there, probably in the 6'3", 6'4" range. And finally separating the two, the lines crew. Bois, who I think was going to get an initial penalty anyway.
I think Bois was going to get an initial penalty here for a slash, and Hanchuck saw the slash right off the draw, and he came in, and he was the one that challenged Bois. If he doesn't get an instigator on this, I'm not so sure you could call an instigator on anything the rest of this game.
I'm just wondering.
As you watch to the left of your screen here, right off the draw, you get Danny Bois, who slashes Carcillo, and in comes Hanchuck from his position behind the red line. So I would assume that Bois is going here for a slash in a fight, and Hanchuck probably for an instigator in a fight.
Yeah.
So it evens the penalties out, and this is one of the things we talked about before the game, Lee. Sarnia has to play with a certain amount of discipline in this hockey game.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. I think what the Bois infraction is going to be, I'm not so sure. It might not be a spear. We'll wait and see how the officiating crew assesses that, because Carcillo was definitely upended right off the draw, and Hanchuck waited absolutely no time whatsoever before going over and taking issue with Danny Bois.
You could be right, as the referee is talking to the Joe Sarator down at the timekeeper's bench with regards to what this call is going to be.
Well, of course, if it is a spear, Danny Bois' afternoon would be done.
And the London Knights would be shorthanded for at least 3 minutes to start the second period.
Larman takes the stick of, I believe, Carcillo over to the cutway. And now we've got Aaron Power and Chris Newberry in conversation with Carmen Cox, your referee, in here this afternoon. I believe that's Dennis Wyman, who's slightly obstructed by the linesman Joe Celeste, and on behalf of the London Knights, trying to get the skinny, so to speak, on what we might see as far as penalties go. It's going to be 5 in a game for Danny Bois. 5 minutes up there, so I think they are going to call it a spear.
So Danny Bois' afternoon is done, and I would think that Hanchuck has to get a 2-minute instigator on this, and his afternoon would be done as well.
As the officiating crew rather busy in the opening period. Yeah, Hanchuck does get the instigator. That was quite apparent, but I think the coaching staff, Jeff Perry and Greg Walters, would take that, a little bit of veteran leadership from Hanchuck. As Bois knocked his man down. And Hanchuck, as mentioned, really didn't have to think a whole lot about it. It was instinct that took over from there.
If it was a spear, then Hanchuck is going in to stick